Okay, so we have our homepage, and we've got a way to see all of the departments in a list view. The other page that we need is a page that will enable us to see an individual department. Now, the way that that's done is in a thing that's called a form, and we've all used forms, so you know they've got text, they've got data entry places. They're typically laid out in a page as columns. So let's create one of those. I'm going to hover over my first module, and I'm going to go add a page. And if we go to forms, you can see there are a whole bunch of different form templates that we're going to use. We're going to use form horizontal, and I need to give it a name. So let's call this add edit departments, and I click OK, and it's going to go into the template, load the template in, create it. Here it is. So similarly, when we were creating the view departments page, we've got the little sort of red symbol, the red border, and the little 1, which is suggesting that there's some further configuration or information that we need to supply. If I hover over that, you can see it tells us, it says no entity is configured for the data source of this data view. Select an entity or change the data source. What data, Mendix is asking us, what data will be displayed in this data view? So if I tap on the data view, I might be able to tap on that. Here it is. You can see it says no data source. So what I need to do, and this is very similar to what we were doing with the view departments page, we're going to create a page. We're going to use a wizard, and what that wizard is going to do is it's basically going to that's it. There it is. The wizard will fill the page with the appropriate interface elements. So down here we can see it says edit the data view. I've tapped on no data source. It's popped this dialog box up. And what I can do is down here it says data source, and it says what data am I going to be displaying in this page. Now there's some other configuration that's actually going on here. I'm not going to talk about context today, but there's something going on inside Mendix which enables us to work out whether it should be creating a new department or displaying one that we currently have. But I'll talk about that at a later point. However, what we do need to do is we need to tell this that it's going to be displaying departments. So I click on select. There, under my first module, it's showing the entities that are inside our domain model. We only have one department. So I'm going to tap on that, click select, click OK. And again, we've got the wizard that's running, and it's saying, do you automatically want to fill the contents of the data view? And I say yes. And you can see what it's done. At this point, it's got department number, department name, and location. So I can save that. Let's go back to view departments. Now what we want to do is we want to be able to create a new department. So the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to have a button that's in the sort of the right hand side of the page, and when you click on that it's going to create a new department. So let's do that. I'm going to go into the toolbox, and if we scroll down to buttons, we should be able to find one that says create. So what that will do is that will enable us to create a blank empty object that we will then be able to pass into a page, and the contents of the page will then be filled out. It'll fill that object. Obviously in this instance we're talking about a department. Now you can visualize that as being a row in the table. So let's add that button. Now I'm just going to drag it in. I'm going to place it up here, and it says what entity should it create. So remember, this button is the create button, so it's prompting us to say what kind of thing should it create. So if I click under my first module, I'm going to say create a department entity. So you can visualize that as saying create a new row in my department table. So I click on select. Here it is. I think what would be quite nice would be if that was aligned over here. So I'm just going to click on the styling of that, and if I just do that again, I could then align it on the right. There it is. I'm just going to leave that as the word new. Now, you see the little red indicator here. Again, it's sort of prompting us, telling us there's a little bit extra information that this needs to do its work. So if I double tap on it, got caption new. If we just work our way down, we know it's going to create an object. It's going to create a blank department object. In other words, a blank row of the department table. But what we need to do is we need to tell Mendix what to do with that blank object. And what we need it to do is we need it to create the blank department object, but then what we need it to do is we need to actually pass it into a particular page. And the page that we're going to pass into is the one that we created, that form that says add edit departments. So I'm just going to select that and click OK, and hopefully the little red button goes away. And now we can run it. Save all our changes. Our app is running. So now I can go into departments. Obviously we don't have any departments, but we do have our new button now. And if I tap on the new button, remember the sequence here, what it's going to do is it's going to create a blank empty object, which corresponds to a row of the department table. And then it's going to pass it into the add edit departments page so we can fill it out. So that's the sequence. Create a new object, an empty object, pass it into our add edit departments page. So let's click on new and see what happens. And you can see it's done it. It's created an empty object, passed it into that page so we can fill it up with data. So let's put some data into here. I'm just going to go 1, which is accounting, and that is in London. And you can see here it is, 1 accounting London. Let's create another one. Let's go 2 research York. And you can see our list view is displaying the departments as we would expect down the page. Now the next step would be to tidy this page up a little bit, but also what we really want to do is we want to be able to edit these values. You know, if we made a mistake, or let's say the accounting department moved to somewhere else, we wanted to change the value, that's the next bit that we need to do. So we'll add that in the next sequence.